And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, today we have more information coming out of your boy, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago's Chicago. You know who he is. Look on your screen. You know you've seen that face many and a plenty of times. He's Brandon Johnson, y'all. I think he's losing popularity, y'all. I think that the press is finally starting to have had enough of his shenanigans. I think he's somewhat, the man knows how to talk. The man does know how to talk. And I think that the press for some time have been deferential to him. And I think that they haven't wanted to step on his toes. But I think that those days are quickly coming to an end, because as you're going to see in today's video, they're prodding him. They're like, yo, why y'all lying, man? You're like, why you and your people's out here lying, trying to get this budget passed? Now, we all know that politicians, we don't trust them typically, in general. We know that they'll say whatever. But I think that the press is starting to say, man, this is not right. And you're going to see that a little bit later. But first, we're going to hop into this story where Chicago's actually testing out universal guaranteed income, where they're giving thousands and thousands of people just money every month. Like, you don't have to do anything. It's not like welfare. It's not like, where it's just money. You just get free money. Y'all, they're moving us. And I say they, I'm not talking about some shadowy group of people. I should say that the country seems like it's moving toward not further away from like welfare type of payments or social assistance payments, which frankly are bankrupting the country right now, the way that it's set up. I think the country is moving in the direction of more payments. And here's some evidence of that. Let's take a look. But before we do, y'all, we are launching our official Patreon. So if you want to be a founding member on our Patreon, we have just 222 slots, y'all. If you want to be a founding member, go down, click the very first link in the description, and you're going to feel good about this, y'all, because believe it or not, we are an actual paralegal school, and we help people get their paralegal certificate and get working in the paralegal field. And all of the proceeds from our Patreon, when you enroll as a founding member, all of that is going to go to scholarships for people who would like to study at our institute, y'all. So click that first link down in the description. Join us as a founding member, y'all. This deal will not come back. Now let's get into the story.
One of the country's largest counties now securing a universal basic income program where low-income households are guaranteed monthly payments. Fox Business's Kelly Saberi is live from Chicago, where this program is unfolding after a lot of public discourse over this decision. Kelly.
Good morning, Cheryl. This is what we know so far. $7.5 million will go towards this program, but who qualifies, how much the payments will be, and what recipients can spend this money on are still up in the air. The group Economic Security Illinois says almost all of the participants use these payments of Cook County's 2022 pilot program for their basic necessities. Cook County once had the nation's largest such program, using money from the American Rescue Plan Act. For 2 years, monthly payments of $500 were given to 3,250 households, no strings attached. 56% of those in the program were employed with an average income of $21,000. Now, 94% of recipients said the money went to emergency expenses, while an Illinois think tank says that they don't believe this this money for these people is not worth the expense to Illinois taxpayers. Listen to this.
There are over 700,000 individuals in Cook County who are below the federal poverty line. If you extended it to every individual at current program rates, that would cost over $4 billion.
Now, your boy, the socialistic sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, he would probably just love for everybody to get free checks every month, and he would like to bill it to the billionaires. He wants to y'all, can I tell y'all something real quick? When he says this sort of thing, when he says that the billionaires should pay more, they should pay their fair share, they should put more skin in the game, y'all it's sleight of hand. Like he's at this point, he's on the level of a snake oil salesman. Okay. And you're going to see that the press is going to call him out on that today. They're starting to wake up, y'all, as people say. They're starting to have had enough of his stuff. Let's take a look.
Oh, you have allies that are also advocating for this budget, putting out ads, social media posts. The CTU put out a social media post yesterday, tracks with previous press releases they've put out. It says, it describes your plan, and then it says the billionaire-backed plan would, among other things, raise your property taxes, cuts $166 million from firefighters, and doesn't want to pay victim of wrong or pay out the lawsuits to people who've been hurt by like wrongful lawsuits from CPD. As you know, there is not a plan that's been put out that would raise property taxes. And while there are aldermen who don't want to borrow for those operating costs, as far as I'm aware, no one has said they don't want to make those payments at all. Do you think the CTU is, as you said about the others, being misleading and lying about what's on the table?
Well, there are alders that have floated the idea of raising property taxes. They have. You know, they're not coming out saying it out loud because for whatever reason, they don't have the fortitude or the gall to actually state their position out loud. You know, so that is something that alders have expressed. And, you know, as far as making sure that our firefighters, you know, get the contract that they deserve, that's in this budget.
So as you can see, Slicky B, old Brandy boy, he didn't answer the question. He didn't answer the question, y'all. And I'm going to tell you what. The reporters, thank goodness, because I've called them out previously. I don't know if they watch these videos, but I'm like, y'all got to stop letting this man get away with this, because at the end of the day, y'all, it's a slide towards socialism. And he's one of the top people, y'all. He's at the forefront of this. This illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, disastrous as his tenure has been and short-lived as it will probably be, he's still out there and he's pushing for this. And I personally want that's why I lend my voice to fighting back. And it looks like the press is ready to do the same.
But again, just lastly, I mean, their ads don't say that they oppose your budget, and they haven't come up with. They directly say.
Start over, Justin. Who's they?
These ads put out by the CTU.
Okay.
Says directly that they want to cut
right now.
100, because you're kind of ignoring that what they're saying is not true. It's misleading. It's not accurate.
It sounds like you've already drawn your conclusion, Justin. All right, let's move along. Thank you. All right.
So as you can see there, he shrugs the follow-up question from the reporter off. Hey man, shut up. I'm not answering that. Next, right? But to their credit, the press corps had more ammunition and they kept firing. So another reporter stepped up and she like, hey, Brandy boy, you didn't answer the question. And as you can see, man, he tries to slick Willie his way out of this stuff, y'all, but it's not working anymore, it looks like.
No, unfortunately, I'm on topic.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you try to answer the question that Justin asked again. You know, you began this news conference talking about these groups are misleading, confusing Chicago, trying to lie and trick people. Mm-hmm. The CTU ad uses the word billionaire. It is a fact that some of these companies that will be paying this head tax are not billionaire owners. And it is a fact that the aldermen have not come up with a proposal for a property tax hike. So again, how can you call those ads misleading, but not the CTU ad misleading?
Well, first of all, the alders have not come up with any proposal. We've just heard speculation. And so what you're simply going off of is speculation. We have not received...
That's what CTU is going off of, speculation.
No, we have not received any proposal, right? And what I've said repeatedly, though, is that there are a number of alders that have come to us and have had conversations with my administration around increasing the property taxes. And I've told them no, simply put, right? And so, you know, I think what's most important here to note is that you have millionaires, individuals who won't even disclose themselves, who are lying to the public. They are. And, you know, as long as we can agree that it's more prudent to actually just come out and say who you are, let's have a real debate on why you don't believe corporations who, again, receive one of the largest tax breaks in the history of America from Donald Trump of why they can't put more skin in the game. That's the conclusion that I'm asking the people of Chicago to come to. You're either going to, because here's the thing, there aren't too many other proposals that they can put forward that's not going to include cuts to services and layoffs. And what I'm simply working to protect, I'm looking to protect what Chicagoans want me to protect.
So yeah, y'all, looks like the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor, old Brandy boy, old Slicky B. It looks like he bought the Kool-Aid factory. He made up a special batch of Kool-Aid for himself. Not only did he drink it, not only did he bathe in it, but he became one with the Kool-Aid. He now believes his own, well, you know what I'm going to say there. You know the word I want to use, right? He believes it. He's a true believer. Chicago, let him believe his stuff on his own, y'all. That's the way I see it. But y'all let me know. I mean, y'all might disagree with me. You might say the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago is just the breath of fresh air that Chicago needs right now. Sticking it to the billionaires. By the way, y'all, I'm not defending the billionaires. I just know that if you make a tax and you make it more difficult for people to hire because they have to pay more money to the government, then employers, they're not going to bring as many jobs to your city as you would hope. You need to maximize incentive to work in Chicago. And also, I don't trust the politicians with the money that we give them. Have you ever noticed that it's always, hey, why don't you want to give us more money? Because y'all don't spend the money we give you correctly. That's why. If every dime, let's not even say every dime, if 85% were properly accounted for, very little fraud, very little waste, very little abuse, very little paying out hundreds of millions of dollars because cops did things to people that they weren't supposed to do, very little giving all the money away to people who are in the country without permission, very little of the waste, then I think everybody would say, hold up, y'all are doing what you're supposed to do with the money. You need a little more? I think even though we might not want to give it to you, it might be easier to stomach it, right? Y'all let me know what you think. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you just want to drop a comment, let me know down below. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button. Share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.